What do you see? Do you see the faintest glimmer of starlight filtering through a canopy of leaves? Do you feel the damp chill of early morning clinging to your skin, or the hard ground beneath you where you kneel to pray? Can you hear the distant rumble of hooves and the low murmur of your fellow soldiers as they ready themselves for the day? Yes. If you answered yes to any of these things, then you may have what it takes to be a soldier in Alexander's army. Welcome to the 334 BC Gaugamela campaign. You are about to embark on one of the greatest military campaigns in history, alongside the legendary King Alexander the Great. But before you do, let us know in the comments who you think will win today's battle. Will it be the technologically advanced Persians or the well-disciplined Macedonians? And while you're at it, click that like button to help us spread the legend of Alexander the Great. And now let's go back to 334 BC. Meet your companion and prepare for battle. You wake before dawn to the drone of insects and the rustle of men preparing for another day of marching. You have been traveling with this army for months, ever since they crossed into Asia. The hot summer sun has faded to a gentle breeze across the fields of the Levant. The Persian satraps put up little resistance, and the road to Susa has been an easy one. You hear the calls of merchants hawking their wares to the soldiers and the clanging of blacksmiths working on new weapons and repairing damaged ones. There is a general air of relaxation amongst the troops, a confidence born of easy victories and spoils taken from their defeated enemies. For the last few days, the army has been encamped near a village called Gaugamela, waiting for scouts to return from a mission to find the Persian king Darius. Your job is simple. Find Darius and destroy him. Alexander has had the satraps assassinated, villages pillaged, and cities surrendered, one after another. But Darius is a different story. So far, his only response to Alexander's invasion has been sending messengers demanding the Macedonian king leave Asia immediately. Now, Alexander wants to end this charade once and for all, and you will be there when it happens. After a breakfast of bread, cheese, and dried fruit, you join the rest of your comrades in formation. The cold air of the early morning clings to your skin as you stand in formation. The horizon is still dark, but the glow of countless campfires flickers in the distance. You can hear the faint rumble of hooves from the Persian side, even though they are still too far to see clearly. Your spear feels heavier than usual, as if it already knows the work it must do today. Alexander's officers move along the lines, speaking in calm, steady voices. They tell you to stay close, keep your shield high, and wait for the signal. You glance to your left and right, seeing men you have marched with for months. Some friends, some strangers, all bound together by this moment. The ground beneath your sandals is dry and dusty, and you know it will soon be soaked in blood. When the sun finally crests the horizon, the Persian army becomes visible. The sight freezes your breath. Their line stretches farther than your eyes can follow, glittering with armor and weapons. War elephants with lit candelabers stand like moving towers, and chariots fitted with scythe blades glint in the morning light. The murmur of your fellow soldiers is quickly silenced by the sound of hooves. Alexander rides past the front line on his great black horse, Bucephalus. He looks younger than a king should, but his eyes are sharp and unshaken. He raises his spear high, and a roar erupts from thousands of Macedonian throats. The trumpets blare, long and sharp, and the army begins to move. You keep your shield close to your shoulder as the phalanx advances. The spears of the front line tilt forward in unison, a forest of deadly points aimed at the enemy. Your heartbeat matches the slow, steady rhythm of marching feet. The Persian chariots break away from their lines and charge. You can see the scythe blades cutting through the dust as they speed toward you. Archers behind you loose a volley of arrows, and several horses fall screaming to the ground. Still, some chariots break through, slicing into the formation. Men shout and shields clash as you fight to keep your place. Chariot rushes past, its blades missing you by the width of a hand. One of your companions is not so lucky. His leg is severed cleanly, and he falls without a sound. You push forward, stepping over his body, because there is no other choice. The main Persian infantry crashes into the phalanx with a roar. Your spear strikes the first man in the throat, and he collapses instantly. Another takes his place, swinging a curved sword that bites into the edge of your shield. You push with all your strength, the weight of the man behind you adding to the shove, and the enemy staggers back. The air is filled with the clang of iron and the screams of the dying. Dust stings your eyes and throat, and every breath tastes of blood. The ground becomes slippery beneath your feet, and you realize it is already wet with gore. Still, the line holds. From the corner of your eye, you see Alexander and his companion cavalry swinging around to the Persian left. It is a maneuver you have drilled for months, but seeing it in battle is different. You push forward, step by step, feeling the enemy start to give way. Then, a fresh wave of Persian cavalry charges into your flank. The impact nearly knocks you off your feet. You turn in time to block a spear with your shield, the force jolting through your arm, your spear is lost in the press, and you draw your short sword instead. The fight becomes a whirl of close combat. You stab, block, and shove in a blur of movement. A rider swings at you from above, and you slash at his leg, sending him tumbling from the saddle. The horse crashes into the men ahead of you, breaking the press for a heartbeat. Alexander's cavalry strikes the Persian king's position. You cannot see Darius clearly, but you hear the sudden panic in the enemy's shouts. The Persians begin to pull back, their formation unraveling. Your officers shout for you to press harder. The retreat becomes a rout. Men drop their weapons and run, tripping over the bodies of the fallen. You push forward, barely aware of your own exhaustion. Every muscle in your body burns, but the will to survive drives you on. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, the fighting ends. You stand there leaning on your sword, your chest heaving. The dust hangs in the air like a ghost, carrying the smell of sweat, iron, and death. Around you, men are tending to the wounded, burying the dead, taking stock of their plunder. You look out across the battlefield, at the abandoned weapons and shattered shields. You look for the body of Darius, but the king is nowhere to be found. Alexander rides past, his armor smeared with dirt and blood, but his eyes alight with victory. He raised his spear once more, and the army answers with a weary, triumphant roar. That night you sit by the campfire staring into the flames. The faces of the men who did not return are fresh in your mind. The victory feels hollow, but you know it will be remembered for centuries. You were there when the Persians broke, and Alexander's path to empire was carved into the earth. With the victory at Gaugamela, Alexander's dream of empire was within reach. The great Persian king Darius was dead, and his generals fled the field. All that stood between Macedonia and the riches of the east were a few rebel satraps and the great city of Persepolis. But as you tend to your wounds and prepare for the next campaign, you know that war is never ending. There is always another battle to win, another king to conquer, another empire to build. For now, you rest, heal, and celebrate. But soon, you will be marching again, following the great Alexander wherever he leads. Thank you for playing the Battle of Gaugamela. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through ancient history. If you want to learn more about the battles and campaigns of Alexander the Great, check out the links in the description. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an epic historical adventure.